Good morning, everybody. It's now 7:30. I've been down in the office down in Warkworth here since 6:30. A couple of reasons I got up so early. First of all, my godson had to go back to Japan today, so he's been here in New Zealand for a month. And so Ben was taking Shunya off to the airport about 6 o'clock this morning. So I was up, thought may as well do some work. Second reason I needed to come into the office was because, and I want to just put this out there is a public meeting in Dunedin today at about 1 p.m. today, finish up about 3 o'clock probably. It's going to be at the University of Otago in the Burns 1 Lecture Theatre, right? And the purpose of this public meeting is it's a petition to save Radio New Zealand. So there's the handover down in Dunedin. Now, I'm not able to make it down there, so the organisers have very kindly taken a statement from me, offered to read a statement from me on behalf of New Zealand First, because I'm the broadcasting spokesperson. So I needed to come down and make sure that I got that together so I could send that off to Joe Bond, who is the organiser for that, the Save Radio New Zealand. And quite frankly, somebody has to. I mean, the reality of this national government is they hate public broadcasting. With Radio New Zealand particularly, there was a bill, the Radio New Zealand Amendment Bill, which would have given, which would have put into place the legislation that required the charter or allowed the charter for Radio New Zealand to be created. And once they had a charter, then there would be a requirement of the government to fund it. So what did the government do? It held it on the order paper. For around about 7 years, it held it on the order paper until finally Radio New Zealand came to a select committee, the Commerce Select Committee, I think it was, and said, okay, we won't ask for any more money. We won't ask for the money that we need to deliver the standard of service that New Zealanders expect. And the moment that they did that, the moment that Radio New Zealand got the message from the government, which was, if you ask us for money, we're not going to pass a bill that will give you a charter. That means we're going to have to fund it. So the moment that Radio New Zealand showed up at a select committee and said, okay, we get it, we understand now what you've been threatening us with for all this time, for 7 long years, so we won't ask for more money. And then the bill got passed. So I just needed to send a message down there from New Zealand First to say that we absolutely believe in public broadcasting. We absolutely believe that the state has a responsibility to fund independent reporting because it's part of the mechanism that keeps our democracy honest. And Radio New Zealand, while we don't necessarily always think that they give New Zealand First a fair go, what we do know is that they do have a high calibre of programming and they have responsibility around their programming into the Pacific. So yes, we'll be working towards, we're working right now actually on policy towards 2017, and the funding mechanisms for Radio New Zealand will be part of that policy structure. And then just to recoup a few things, what happened over the weekend, it kind of got a bit crazy. So on Friday, I was on a political panel at the Principals Federation Moot, which is where the principals from around New Zealand who belong, primary, secondary principals from around New Zealand, come together to discuss, topics that are happening once a year inside their sector. And the topic this year was navigating change, which poor old education people have had to navigate just constantly for years and years and years, to the point where they're just about burnt out, really. So I was on that political panel with Chris Hipkins, Catherine Delahunty, and David Seymour showed up. Hekia Parata had been there earlier in the day. That didn't sound like it went very well, but then the minister always has a very interesting way of dealing with the education sector. So that was Friday, and then I flew back home, caught up with my children and my husband and godson for dinner on the Friday night. On Saturday, I had the local business and professional women breakfast here. It was probably one of the last events I'll do around International Women's Day, and they were asking me to talk about the work that New Zealand First is doing around the pay equity issue, domestic violence, and other issues that deal directly with women predominantly. But where New Zealand First has been doing the most amount of work is actually around the men's conversation inside those issues that directly affect women, because there's a space in there. with regard to political parties and policy work that they're doing. On Sunday, I went and opened a cycleway at Wainui Primary School, which was great piece of work, lots of community. It's what I used to do when I was on the PTA and the boards of trustees at Warkworth Primary School and of course Mahurangi College. It's something I miss doing, organising galas and events like that for the community to come together, so that was awesome. And this morning I'm about to shoot off to Mahurangi College. I've got a property meeting there. I'm no longer the chair of the board at Mahurangi College because it's an election year and because we are, New Zealand First is in such demand. I didn't feel I could give the position the time that it needed. It's a vital role between the relationship between the chairman of the board or the chair of the board and the principal. So however, I'm the chair of the property subcommittee of the Board of Trustees now. So I'm off to a property meeting to see where we're at with some of our, they call them weather-tight buildings, but actually they're leaky buildings. Okay, take care, have a good day, bye-bye.